Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today, I'm going to be ranking Hoplite's legendary crafts. I'm pretty sure you all know about the server Hoplite that has been blowing up on the internet right now. So I'm going to be ranking all its legendary crafts from S to F tier. So you should know which ones to craft and which ones to stay away from. Looking at you, Enderbow. Let's get into it. So first off, we have the Midas Sword, which gains a sharpness level every time you get a kill, which is also one of the main things that you see on the Speed Silver tournament videos. Is this weapon is used a lot, and it's really OP. It requires a notch apple, a golden apple, a diamond sword, and 2 quartz to craft. So it's pretty OP and easy to craft apart from the notch apple, but you know, you could get that from dungeons or in temples and stuff. So I'm gonna put that in S tier. Next up, we have the Artemis bow, which is a bow that pretty much looks and kind of has the same feel as the Midas Sword. It has a chance to strike lightning on your enemies whenever your arrow hits them, and also it has a chance that any arrow you fire will home in on your enemy, meaning it's kind of like an aimbot. This is really OP. Also super simple to craft, only requiring 4 feathers, a TNT, 2 diamonds, and a bow. So I'm going to put that in S tier. Pretty sure I got the crafting recipe wrong, but, you know, it's just what happens when you just get started off on Hoplite and all. Next, we have the Mijolnir, which, along with the Artemis bow, can also strike lightning, but this time it's every hit, kind of like Thor's hammer. Though it's really expensive, I'm not kidding. It costs a lodestone to craft, and a lodestone requires a netherite ingot, and a netherite ingot requires 4 ancient debris, and 4 ancient debris also, that means you also require 4 gold, and all that. It's just like a lot of hustle and just way too big of a fuss to work with. So I'm going to put Mijolnir in B tier. Next up, we have the Dragon Katana, along with the Midas Sword and the Emerald Sword, are the 3 of the most common legendary swords that you see in Hoplite, along with the Pufferfish cannon, but, you know, that one's a bit mid. But the Dragon Katana only requires 1 ancient debris, think a fire charge, and a diamond sword. So yeah, pretty inexpensive compared to Mijolnir, which requires 4 ancient debris. It also gives you a permanent speed 1 and allows you to teleport wherever you want. But you only get like 1 try to use this in a cooldown. So, you know, it's not really as OP as people think, but still it's like really overpowered. So I'm going to put that in S tier. Next, we have the Void Staff, which along with the Ender Bow and Dragon Katana kind of form like the end legendary weapons. The Void Staff allows you to teleport, you know, similar to the Dragon Katana, but it's also a ranged weapon because it can shoot shulker blasts multiple times. It's not really as common because it's kind of like a weird thing to craft because it requires like blaze powder and ice of enders. Usually you don't have that kind of material, but it's still pretty good, so I'm going to put it in B tier along with Mijolnir. And now we have the Ender Bow. This thing is the most trash thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. A short bow would be better than an Ender Bow because the Ender Bow is just a bow that lets you teleport with one of your arrows. And really, I think this is a spin on the shadow bow that you saw in one of the Speed Silver's 100 Days in Custom End video. But in that video, it did a lot more damage. It was a lot easier to get because you could just like get it from a trader. And this is just literally not what you want to go for. You should either go for Artemis short bow or like power 3 or 4 bow. So I'm going to put you in F tier. Stay away from this thing. Next, we have the Grimoires, or Grimoires? No, I don't know. I can't pronounce that correctly. But this is a book that has a lot of good enchantments on it, like Protection 3, Sharpness 3, Fire Aspect 2, Punch 1. A lot of OP enchantments on it. You could put it on your armor, your sword, your bow. Most people put it on their sword, mostly because of the Fire Aspect 2, which is the most OP enchantment in all of Hoplite. So I'm going to put this in A tier. The reason why I won't put it in S tier, though, is because it also requires a lot of resources to craft. It requires a trident, diamond sword, and a bunch of other stuff that you just, like, it's hard to get. So I'm going to put that in A tier. Next, we have the Emerald Sword, which is a pretty OP weapon that requires, I think, 2 emerald blocks, 2 iron blocks, or a bell. I can never decide. I think there are 2 different ways to craft it. And a diamond sword, and it requires 32 emeralds to upgrade 1 sharpness level. So yeah, it's pretty OP weapon, although it's harder to upgrade its sharpness level, unlike the Midas Sword, which you could get 1 sharpness level per kill, which is easy because you could just grind full irons the entire PvP time, because there are a lot of newer players that are coming in because the first season is about to end. So we're going to put Emerald Sword in A tier. I'm pretty sure it's going to get a bit buffed or a bit nerfed in the next update, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to change, because where it is right now is kind of a bit of a weapon. Next, we have the Lich Staff, which I'm pretty sure we've all seen that video that says the Lich Staff is too OP, and there's like this one thumbnail that shows like 9,999 knockback. It pretty much just spawns ice and freezes your enemies and knocks them back a lot, though not knock back 9,999. It's pretty easy to craft, which makes it really, really interesting why a lot of people don't go for it. But I think it's pretty good, except the part that it requires a candle, and pretty much the only place you can get candles is ancient cities, which makes it really hard to get. So I'm going to put the Lich Staff in A tier. Next, we have the Pufferfish Cannon. Now, the Pufferfish Cannon is interesting. You'll read a lot of forums that say it sucks, and then you'll see a lot of videos that say it's good, and vice versa. But I honestly think it's not that good of a weapon, because it's really easy to craft. Everyone has it, pretty much. And also, it really doesn't do the desired effect of like poison for a really long time. Also, it has a cooldown, which makes it really bad. So I'm going to put the Pufferfish Cannon in C tier. Next, we have the Reaper Scythe, which I recently discovered what it actually does, because I never used it until a couple days ago. Apparently, it takes away 10% of your opponent's health when you melee them, and then it gives that 10% to you, but it also takes away all the potion effects from your enemies and gives it to you. So if your enemy has strength 2, speed 2, and is on like 40 HP, you get 10% of that, which is 4 hearts, and it gives it to you, and then you get the strength 2, speed 2, and then you pretty much just become invincible at that point, which makes this weapon really overpowered. But it has a 22-second cooldown, which I discovered while I was using it, because I tried to use it and it just wouldn't work, and I realized, all right, the cooldown is unreasonably long. So I'm going to put the Reaper Scythe in A tier. It also requires 2 player heads, 2 bones, and an amethyst shard to craft. The hardest part is actually the amethyst and not the player heads, because as I said earlier, the full iron dudes. Next, we have the Sonic Crossbow, which I'm going to put in A tier immediately, because, you know, it looks really cool, first of all. Also, it's one of the other weapons that you've seen in the Speed Silver video, so I'm pretty sure you know how it works. You pretty much just throw arrows, and then it turns into Skulk, and then does insane amounts of damage. If you put multi-shot on this thing, it pretty much becomes so overpowered that you could take on a 1v4 and still win. If you have like the Sonic Crossbow, Dragon Katana, or Midas Sword, you're pretty much invincible at that point. But it is really expensive to craft, though, because all the things that you need for it to craft are in, you guessed it, ancient cities. Which means Warden, and Warden equals really, 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 really dangerous, because you see like Prot 4 Netherite players get 2-tapped by the Warden, and then you're in like Prot 2 Iron, and then you just get 1-tapped easily. Next, we have Tim the Enchanter, which cost me my first rage in Hoplite, because when I first made this thing, it gave me a Bane of Arthropods 4 Iron Sword. I don't even know how that's possible. I don't have the footage of it, but like I raged so hard that I quit playing Hoplite for like the next 5 hours. It was so annoying. It can give you really OP things like Sharp 5, Fire Aspect 2 Diamond Swords, and it just pretty much makes you super OP. But you could also waste a lot of your hard-earned enchanting tables, diamonds, and glowberries on it, and then you get Bane of Arthropods 4, which is not very good. So I'm going to put Tim the Enchanter in C tier along with the Pufferfish Cannon. So there we have it. This is all of the Hoplite legendary crafts put in a tier list. If you don't agree with some of my rankings, then you could always comment your own opinions down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, as this is my first video and your support would really help me out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. My next video will be in a couple of days, and I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.